All right, everyone, welcome. This is something special. I feel like I asked about this a while ago. Ken, you're the first one that's like, yeah, let's do it. I want to show things
For sure,
off.
yeah.
So I'm glad you're here. Let me go around and do a couple introductions. My name is Mike. You may see me around Fujito EX. I like how Heath and I decided we're just calling ourselves co-founders of Kanzenshuu at this point. I think it's a good term. I like that. Over here, we have our wiki administrator, Terez. Welcome to the live stream. Couldn't hear you.
I said hi.
Okay, there we go. Who else we have? Ken, Detective X. I'm going to say, first and foremost, a fantastic artist. Second most,
yes.
A wiki editor. Hello.
Hi.
And we are breaking in new blood here on the live stream too. This is something I was actually most excited about because I like exposing people to other new people, new thoughts, new work. Jake, you're actually Jake number 2, so I think by extension that makes you Julian number 3. I'm not quite sure how that actually works.
I'm actually very used to that IRL, so that is fine.
See him around as some type of variation of Lunar. I think you're there. You got a J in front of it in some places. That's good. This is my group of wiki cohorts that I've brought together today. We are going to do a live look at the Kanzenshuu Wiki. I do want to give a little bit of extra introduction here. If you don't already know who we are, there aren't many folks like us anymore. We are a totally independent, I like to say, DIY, old school Dragon Ball fan site. We cover news. We have tons of guides for things like home video releases. We have a massive translation archive with things from guidebooks and magazine interviews. We have a podcast too, which I'm a fan of myself. I started my own site back in 1998 and merged what became Kanzenshuu EX there with Kanzentai in 2012. Crazy, that was that long ago now, to make Kanzenshuu, and here we are. And now we're adding a wiki to the mix. We still believe in covering news, translating interviews, and creating curated specific guides, but we also believe in very extensive, pure documentation. We think it's important to know everything there is to know about every chapter, every episode, every game, every technique, every video, every person. The list just truly does go on and on. So the big question, where and why does a wiki come in? Simply put, we needed more people. Since fusing in 2012, it was just the 4 of us at the time. Myself, Mike, Julian, Heath, and Jake number 1, Herm's Jake, as opposed to this Jake. And while we definitely accomplished a lot, we wanted to do more. So as for a wiki, we believe text remains the best way to archive and search for information. And a wiki accomplishes that by being familiar and usable to more people than an old school fan site that no one knows how to browse and use anymore. So it just felt like a natural extension for us. So before we get into it and actually show you the answer to this question, you're probably asking, all right, a Dragon Ball wiki, so what? What's going to set you apart? Not only from the existing Kanzenshuu website, but from other wikis out there. So here's what I think is going to do that. We are not part of any company. We're not a fandom wikia. You're not going to see auto-playing ads jumping all over the screens, slowing down the pages, and we don't have to answer to anyone but ourselves. We are a growing but small group. Joe Schmo isn't logging on and editing a page to write that Toriyama said in Kanzenshuu 12 that he wanted to end the series at Frieza. This is key. We have people who actually know Japanese and can read the darn things. They are not here right now, but they exist. My girlfriend goes to another school. You've never met her before. We own all the things. We're literally picking up books and looking at them to confirm they say what we think they say. Not, I think I read someone say once. No, we're looking at it. There is a Kanzenshuu right there. And finally, we care. I'm not going to say that we care more than anyone else, but we care more than anyone else. So With that all said, let's get on into it. Acknowledging that this is a constantly work in progress kind of thing, so you may and likely will see unfinished pages and unfinished formatting. Ken, I'm actually going to turn it over to you first. This is the main wiki page. You said to me you wanted to talk about citations, so please talk to me about citations and what we do and how we do it.
So I know when I was in high school, right, the worst part of doing any sort of research paper for me was always the citations and having to memorize MLA format and whatnot. But you and I guess Heath was more of the lead on putting this together. Yeah. Put together these citation templates where it's real simple here. Let me full screen this on my end so I can see what you're saying. So what I use a lot is template site guidebook because I do a lot of work involving
All right, let me go there.
the way stuff's laid out in Kanzenshuu.
Okay.
And so, yeah, you see, it's really easy for us to document this stuff because you guys have it set out, like just put the book code in, what page numbers there are. And of course, because we all own, those of us who are referencing this stuff own the original documentation, we can go through and tell you exactly what pages these things are on, so that if you happen to get your hands on a copy of the Kanzenshuu, they're not in print anymore, but you can hunt one down.
Yeah.
It's the idea of trust but verify, right? So if I tell you something's in Kanzenshuu 4 on page 97, go tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that's not the right place for it.
Yeah.
And so we're not trying to keep anything from everyone. We're trying to show everyone where stuff is and put it all in one spot. And this really helps us gather that all together so that anyone could kind of just fact check us.
Yeah. And it's not just Kanzenshuu 4 said it. What column, what page, if you want to actually go look it up. Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing that drives me nuts. It's like, the latest issue of Jump said blank. Which Jump was it?
If you take a look, not to keep jumping around, but if you take a look at the key manipulations technique page and scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see.
Oh my God, I want to do that. Yeah. So
citations that will fill up the entire screen, just because there's so many things on different pages throughout that entire book.
So I guess let me explain what I'm doing here. So what I've asked all of the wiki editors to do is maintain their own user pages. And that's a list of everything that they're doing, working on. It's just a great way to keep yourself honest too. So Ken, I'm on your page.
I see.
key manipulation techniques. And I think this is good too, because this is a good overview of people want to know. I just want to know what all the attacks in the series are. And so we've broken up into a couple different sections here. I say you've done all this work. But this is key manipulation. And so you're scrolling down and they're all here, but you'll notice each one ends with some kind of citation there. So if we scroll all the way to the bottom, for some reason this page isn't doing the hover on them, because of course it's not.
Divisions of martial arts techniques are from the Kanzenshuu and the Kanzenshuu.
Right.
We didn't make them up.
So here we're down at your references. You've got them. And there'll be things like Kanzenshuu, but you'll also have episodes or manga chapters or something, or Fix Me, Dragon Ball Heroes. We still have some stuff to do on these pages. But this is here. So it'll be, this is the debut of the Broly movie. So that's what you're citing there. But here, so super exciting guy, character volume, the key manipulation technique section there.
And towards the top, you'll see Fix Me Operation Manual from SH Figure Arts Trunks. That's like how kind of deep we're going for, because there's, it calls his sword, the Sword of Hope.
Sure.
And so I reference that, and, it's all about citing exactly the thing that it was that said it. And I don't know how exactly I'm going to cite that yet, because I've never cited a toy before. So we'll see.
Someone's going to make a template for that. And at some point, we haven't made the pages for all of the guidebooks yet. So at some point, and this is nice about having it be a template, is we can go into the template and say, all right, link Kanzenshuu 4. So then you'll be able to come over here and click Kanzenshuu 4 and go to the wiki page about Kanzenshuu 4 and learn more about it. Kind of similar to what we have in the data book guide on the main website. Let's look at some other citation templates. Terez, you're in manga a lot. Let's look at that one. I love this one because we have everything, whether it's Weekly Jump or Tankobon or what else do we have here? Full colors, super volumes, Jocko. They're all here. And it's super, super easy to just copy and paste one of these. And I want to cite Dragon Ball Chapter 17. That's all it takes. You don't have to retype everything over and over and over. I know this is pretty basic in terms of a wiki, but the way that we've customized it for us, I love it.
The digital full color is not in there.
Right.
So I don't think we ever have to cite that for anything because the interviews are only in the print version.
Well, there we go. We'll get in there eventually. I get in here. I think I had to add Jocko stuff, and we were still having the conversation about, did I put Dragon Ball minus in Jocko? And I think I did add it as Jocko Chapter 12, and I think it'll pull up the correct full volume release for that. But we run into weird things like that where something was technically elsewhere.
We have to put Yamcha on there.
Oh, I guess we do. We got to do the digital chapters and then the collective volume release. You know what? You can just write that yourself. That's fine.
And then Heroes.
I feel so bad for you guys because we're always coming to you with, I need citation template for this. I need citation template for that.
What's another one we want to look at? Just website in general. And we probably have more that we want to add into this. And we'll probably adjust these, but right now we at least have regular website and social media. So it's at least going to be standard as you're going through and looking at things. We link a lot of tweets because sometimes that's where news first breaks or someone first discovered something there. We use that a lot. You said guidebook. Let's look at video game, I guess. So I've set this up where at some point you start getting into the international releases, and so I've thrown some of those in there with their own codes as well. Dragon Ball Z 2V has its own separate release from something like that, and that'll pull up, first released or special mail-in available beginning, something like that. Again, it just keeps it all very consistent from page to page to page. There's still a couple of very early pages where we didn't have citation templates yet that I go back to and go, oh my God, that's totally wrong. We'll have to fix that in post. But for the most part, this is all, it's pretty ready to go. I'm really appreciative of people looking here in the chat now, talking about the citation templates, being like, holy crap. Yeah, a lot of work went into this specifically, and I want to give credit to Heath for sure for setting up a lot of this, because this is the baseline for a lot of what we do. Ken, maybe you can talk about that a little bit, just as you're working on techniques or even the timeline stuff. Being able to cite an episode by just throwing in a quick code, that's something.
Yeah, so I actually have the whole the timeline page open right now, and there's so many different chapters because one of the things I tried to do, and I don't know if you're going to pull up, it's a Dragon World timeline.
Yeah,
we weren't exactly sure what to call it, but I went through.
Yeah.
Go back to that. Yeah, right. Show them how the hover works on the citations.
Okay. Let me get to one here.
Because we love that feature.
It's not coming up for some reason.
Oh, it's not?
I wonder if because I'm in a private window and it's...
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think that's a Discord thing.
Yeah. But anyway, you can just hover over that, or if you're on mobile, you can tap it.
Yeah.
And it'll pop up a window that'll give you the whole citation, including the links.
And if you want, you
wherever.
can click it and it'll go down to it like normal too. But
yeah. But that's like way at the bottom of the page. So
right.
That's kind of a pain. So all your citations are there within the text, and they're very accessible.
And
same thing with footnotes too.
Yep.
In the you'll see in the Kanzenshuu 7's chronological table of the DB world part,
the TBD world.
I went through and tried to figure out the exact thought process that Caramel Mama, and people wonder who made this timeline that we use, and it wasn't Toriyama sitting down and writing this thing. We were guessing, but it's the team who made the Kanzenshuu and the Chozenshu, and I think put together V-Jump and some other things. They had to have a team sit down and figure out how the timeline worked. And so I tried to reverse engineer how they figured it out, the way that they figured it out, because people might have different interpretations of different dialogue. But I had to go through and cite all the different chapters in which these tiny little mentions of time passing happen, and all the different instances in which we actually see that time passes. Like, I think those 4 images plus the little Christmas special are the only definitive dates really ever mentioned in the series.
Sure.
And then, I mean, the Christmas special takes place in Christmas Eve, and is how the Goku versus Frieza fight happens on Christmas Eve, I think.
Right, exactly.
That's where we think they got it from, was that little doodle. But
and so
yeah, lots of citations in there.
Scrolling down here, and obviously none of this is complete at this point, because I see a comment over here in the chat that Iron Fjord says, "Are you not transposing the Dragon Ball Online timeline?" We are. We are going to include all of that. For this page right here, this is just kind of like main canonical stuff. But we are going to include, so we've got things like Future Trunks' timeline. We've got Goku Black on there. Not to toot my own horn for this totally wonderful thing. I'm working on the Xenoverse one. Well, I've done the one so far where Xenoverse 2, the manga, takes place. So we're going to have pages for those as well. And I think how we arrange the timeline as a whole is still TBD as well. I think there's something like the Battle Power Guide on Kanzenshuu, where eventually Heath made for that final page, like, here's everything combined. We can probably do something like that, and they'll just keep all the citations, and it just won't work because, of course, it won't work. But we'll get there.
Yeah, there are already parts where I'm having to reconcile, and I guess I'm not reconciling that the different origins for Goku happen, and so I have to say in the anime version of events, in Jocko's version of events, and have to split all that out.
Mm-hmm. What else do you want to talk about on this page? So just scrolling up, I mean, we have things like, here's something from the movie 7 theatrical pamphlet, because they talk about a timeline. You don't see that stuff mentioned other places. You may see things like the Daizenshu talking about when things happen, but we're going to show you that as well. We're going to tell you what book it came from, what page it came from. Yeah, we're going to talk about Dr. Slump at some point. Maybe that can get some other pages I've been working on. But we are really, we're telling you everything.
There's some fun stuff in that Dr. Slump section right there, where you find out how the dates could work versus the age system versus the Gregorian calendar. And the guidebooks do specifically say that the Gregorian calendar is used in Dr. Slump, where everyone else uses age.
Yeah.
And you can find out some fun stuff like Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods happening in 2013 AD, according to Dr. Slump, which is the year that movie came out. So some fun coincidences like that.
That's really fun. Where do we want to go from here? So I've let Ken take things away for a little bit with citations. A couple of his pages. This is good. This is how I wanted to introduce it. I think that was a real great idea. So I'm going to go over to our wiki administrator, Terez. Where do you want to go? I'm going to bring up your user page. You've been on the podcast.
Bring up my user page. There's nothing on it.
No, there's plenty of stuff on here. You've been on the podcast.
It's not even close to being complete.
I realize that, but it's still got plenty of good links on here.
Like Mike kept bugging me to make my user page like everybody else's, and every time I try to do it, I end up actually making wiki pages instead.
Well, maybe that's a better use of everyone's time.
Yeah.
Where I'm going with this is
just so tedious.
You've been on the podcast talking about music guides and manga stuff. I think there's so much I want to show people here. What are you willing to show off to people? There's been a couple things you're like, I'm almost ready to show this publicly.
If you want to, I haven't put Mori on there yet.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to click on Kikuchi, we can show people what I've started there.
All right. The catalog page?
Yeah.
Okay.
What you've done cataloging Kikuchi's music is honestly like some of my most favorite material on the wiki so far. It's incredible.
This is great.
Yeah,
I know we've talked
about
about
I keep telling people, like, Kenny Sue already did most of the work for documenting it episode by episode.
Sure.
So all I'm doing is making sure everything is right and putting chronological catalog numbers on it so that I have a way to refer to unreleased tracks that isn't a fan title.
Right, but look at this. I mean, so we have our own internal catalog number just to help keep things organized. You've got the official catalog number. I don't even know what tonality is, but you do, and you have that listed here.
That's my favorite part.
It's the kind of thing that, you know, only a few people will find actually useful, but I find it to be very useful. And like, even if you don't know anything about music, you can, you know, go to any episode page and look. Every piece in this episode is in D minor because, actually it's usually F minor, because that's what Kikuchi tended to do. He wrote like everything in the same key, and then you can compare that to, like, you know, a super episode or a heroes episode or anything else.
Sure.
And it's just all over the place with tonality.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to click to Dragon Ball Episode 1. Obviously, this is an episode guide page, so it's got all that other kind of stuff, but I know that you'll have...
If you click on the image, it takes you straight to the music table.
Got it. Well, I'm here.
Yeah, you are.
So yeah, this is what you would expect to see on an individual episode page. So here's a list of every piece of background music that plays in order, and you've got the catalog numbers. And which of these can I click on for an individual piece?
Go with, I think, that's a good question. I don't remember. It's been so long since I did these. Maybe H4.
All right, let's do H4 and see what we get.
I think I did. I think I wrote something about H4. Yeah, like I wrote about the Chinese inspiration for it.
I know you're looking at this for the first time in a while, but the compositional analysis. So you're talking about the keyboard synth on the dissonant interval. Like, I don't know what any of this stuff is, but this is amazing.
Sorry. Yeah, like a few people might find it useful, but
Now, will you be doing this for the Falconer tracks as well?
I'll be doing it for everything, you know, until I die, I guess.
That's how we do it here.
Much, you know. But yeah, if you look in the info box,
sure,
next to theme groups, I don't really know how I'm going to do these. These are just like placeholders, right? You know, because there are a bunch of Kikuchi pieces that use some pretty recognizably Chinese elements, and this is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
So I've like temporarily named the theme group that, but again, we're getting into fan titles, right?
Right. Yeah,
so
you want to be careful about it.
I kind of want to avoid that, so I haven't really decided what I'm going to do with that.
You know, Ken, you already made the Falconer joke, and other people are, I don't know that they're joking. I think now they're being serious at this point. Are we going to do Falconer? Are we going to do the Evolution soundtrack? Like, that's the plan. I mean, who knows when we'll get to that stuff.
I actually started on Falconer like 2 days ago.
Yeah. And
there's a page, actually, go to that page. It's on recent changes within the past few days. Just, I think it says Dragon Ball Z American Soundtrack, because that's the name of the series. Like every CD that they put out with Falconer music on it says Dragon Ball Z American Soundtrack.
Sure. Yeah. So you at least have the CDs listed here. Yeah, this is stuff that's never been on our... Well, I guess maybe it was at some point in our music guide, our database on the site, but you know, you're going above and beyond. You got the composers here because we know that stuff now.
Right. Yeah, well, the Falconer composers did an AMA on Reddit back in January, and they gave us a spreadsheet that said who wrote what. So
why not use it?
Yeah, I mean that's the main thing that I wanted to know was who wrote what. So it's great to have that information on the wiki. So I already started that. Cataloging is pretty difficult for Falconer because it's wall-to-wall music, and it's often difficult to tell where one track begins and ends, unless it was released. And there's a lot that wasn't released. So in between the release tracks, and oh my God, it's like impossible to tell the released ones apart sometimes, you know, because obviously there are themes, you know, that you can remember that everybody knows, right? So those are easy to recognize, but then they have like all what they call Mickey Mousing that's, written to conform to the scene. And it's just like kind of silly, crazy stuff that's just, it's in every track.
Yeah.
So when you're looking for something, it can be a real pain. So that's part of the reason why it's important to document it, to make it easier for other people to figure out what's what. But
sure,
it's not going to be easy for me,
What is your priority with music stuff right now? Because Sumitomo really got you going.
I would say my priority is probably going to be to get back to Kikuchi. I need to finish Sumitomo. It's almost finished. All I have to do is go back and watch every episode again.
All you have
everything
to do
is right. That's all I have to do, right? That's kind of why I'm putting it off, because it's a pain. So, like, I have on my user page, like, that I did the first episode of the Japanese version and the international version of Kai. I checked the first episode, which is episode 99 in both.
Right. Yeah,
and that's like the only one I've checked. So I got to like do it one episode at a time and just eventually get it done. But I need to get back to Kikuchi because I've only made it to Dragon Ball Movie 2. So
you got a long way to go.
Yeah, I have a long way to go on that.
I want to go back to the recent changes page because I love living on this page. And maybe this is a little too close of a look right now, but I just love peeking on what everyone's working on. It's great to see. Today I was living in some video game stuff, some home video stuff. Terez, you were doing the Viz Monthly Comics recently. You really get a peek of what everyone is overly invested in at any given moment. Like, what are all the pet projects? That's real fun to me. Terez, I'm going to take a break from you right now because I want to go to Jake for a little bit because you've been quiet right now. You're our newest blood here. And you have been an invaluable resource. Everyone has been. I love how every single person we pull in, we're like, I don't know how we worked without you prior to this. You're really personally invested in home video releases. And that's actually what prompted us to bring you in here. And you're throwing yourself at this stuff. So when I created the DVD guide on Kanzenshuu Wiki, my plan at the time was there weren't many releases. It was, all right, I'm going to make the main listings, and then you're going to be able to click any DVD and get, I want to know what the extras were on this, what trailers played on it, what is the label on the actual DVD, like pop it into Windows and see what the disc label is. I want to get all that information. And I just never got to it because it got away from me because they re-release the show every 2 years, and it was impossible. I think I'm still not caught up with some of the stuff in there. But now with more people, we're able to go back. Where do you want to take me here? Jumping off of your user page.
Well, let's start off with, just to give a good idea of where we're going, start off with the Saga Sets Funimation page.
Okay. So this is probably going to look sort of similar to what we have on the main home video page on Kanzenshuu.
At the top, you'll notice, general summary of why these releases are different from the rest, especially for how North America kind of jumped around the continuity with Dragon Ball. But for this one in particular, you have your Australian release up top because those first 13 episodes we didn't get. We want to make sure we pay close attention to that, as well as covering some details like the opening and ending, what versions these releases have, because again, it's something that a lot of people may not point out or realize when they're watching, but we never got all the different versions of I just noticed what you're holding up there, Mike.
Well,
very
again,
jealous.
Just to our point, we're not just assuming. We actually own all of this stuff. This is the Madman Saga of Goku that I'm holding up here.
I'm just going over small tidbits that essentially we want to make sure it's right up there that people can just look up and reference and tell.
Someone have a page? I'm
what
gonna
each
click on
release.
I don't know what everyone did. I'm going to go look at this page. So, all right. So we've got the plot summary from the DVD. We've got the episode listings and the summaries from them. You've got the trailers that are on those discs. We're going to talk about the menus. We're going to talk about the audio and the subtitles, of course. There's character profiles on here. We're going to transcribe all that.
Go to the next page, Mike.
Okay. Tournament Saga?
Tournament, yeah. That one has a music table on it.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Yeah, so these are mostly complete, but Terez is going to put her finishing touches on a lot of these with the music track coverage.
And by
this
music,
is one of them.
You mean like what pieces of background music are playing on the menus? So
on the menus,
you're on the extras menu. You want to know what piece of music is playing there? Well, here you go. It was K95, which is an internal catalog number, but it's there.
Yeah. You can click on it, and I have like if you're used to the fan titles, if you click on an individual page, it'll tell you what the fan title is.
Right, and we say up front, this is the Kanzenshuu catalog number. Does this one have a fan title?
Oh yeah, I haven't built out.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's there.
Go back.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I did. Dark Alley Murder.
Broke. There we go.
Sorry, I couldn't read it. Yeah, that's what Kenny Sue called it.
Yep, it was there. So, we include that. We want to acknowledge, and again, to my point earlier about text is the best way to search and archive things. That's what someone is going to search for, and we want to make sure that we have that text on the page so they can cross-reference and know for sure that's what that's is. Right.
And, as for the other composers, nobody is really as... what's the word that I'm looking for? I don't know what word I'm looking for. I'm going to say famous because I can't think of a good word. But as Kenny Sue, but there are some other fans that have made fan titles for like unreleased Sumitomo tracks that have also gotten popular.
Yeah, like the first YouTube upload, that's the title that everyone uses. For that.
Right, pretty much.
All right, Jay, come back at your main page.
So you can see at the top, I have all U.S. franchise home releases checklist. I am going to be essentially responsible for any sort of video content that was released by Funimation in North America. I'm going to be plugging away at it, and what you see on the page is what I've got so far. Currently going through the orange bricks, as they're known to us. You can probably click on the Dragon Ball Z Season 1 DVD. It's up top there.
Well, only been up this for a couple of months, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's been.
Not even. It feels like
time.
Just a couple of weeks. It feels like forever.
It's been longer than that.
Yeah, late October. But yeah, if you scroll through, I mean, we're not only trying to transcribe everything in the booklets, and we're also trying to mention, what exactly the differences were between visuals and all the history behind them, essentially kind of reversioning everything here. I mean, if you can see my thumbnail up here, but this release here is actually different than the orange brick that we've essentially had ever since on all the other Blu-rays. If you're listening to the dub track, it is actually not the same as what a lot of folks watched back in 1999. So we just think it's really important to keep track of that kind of stuff. And I'm
going to show off one of my pages actually, and this gets to what we were kind of talking about before. Before we actually started streaming. So I'm going to highlight it there before.
I know the page you're going to bring up.
So I'll say when I made the DVD guide on Kanzenshuu EX, it was very strictly, if there's no Japanese on it, I probably will not include it there. There were a couple exceptions, like the first releases of the syndication stuff, because that's all there was. There was no alternate version. It wasn't available in Japanese. And for the subsequent releases to make sense, I had to list them there. But I didn't include the VHS releases because they were dub only. I mentioned Dead Zone, subtitled VHS, but I didn't mention Dragon Ball Tournament Roshi's Request. This is what I was saying to you earlier, Jake, is I'm far enough removed from that time that I can appreciate now that these releases, they speak to the journey of this series in this country.
It was almost 20 years ago.
Right. And they tell the story of that eventual home release. And to your point about what was on Captain Ginyu VHS is not what's on the orange brick. What you hear on Roshi's Request is what you hear on the DVDs. maybe that's different. I'm assuming it is. We'll have to fact check that at some point. But we mentioned here that like this is what's used here on the 2 disc sets and then on the blue bricks as well. And this is where it all started.
That's right. Yeah. And I plan on actually like fact checking this and treating VHS tapes like trading cards someday and just trying to hunt them all down in bulk. But
I happen to have this one, and I've been wanting to scan it and kind of lay out a skeleton of this page. I'm probably not going to do this for all these, but I wanted to. I like doing initial pages and then making other people do all the work for the rest of them. But this is one for me.
That'll be me. The rest of the work is me.
But it was fun going back and pulling up all the citations for this. I forgot that there were video mastering errors when this tape was first released, and so we're going to mention it there and link to those old news articles. And you could actually get this tape with trading cards when it first came out. I don't have those. We're going to have to find them and put them up on the page at some point.
I have a ton of cards that came with my VHS tapes. I have them all in a box somewhere.
There we go. Someone has them.
Keeping track of those releases in America, the ones that had the little bonus bits like the trading cards or that one with Arrival with a figure that we just never knew about for years. That's been the real challenge is actually like going back to these old websites on the Wayback Machine and the archives and trying to figure out when people were talking about these. And it's been a fun dive.
And then actually going out and finding it yourself. Like I bought that other Arrival, and well, now I don't know if I want to say it, but I want to get that gift set as well. I don't own it because I want to see what it looks like in person and include it here.
Somebody's going to sell it on eBay for $500 right now.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. They're all taking big deposits. And I guess
Mike wants this. Let's see if I can get his money.
He really want it? I guess what I wanted to say about this stuff was I've been here the whole time. I got into the series in '96 when Funimation was first starting DBZ over here. So I've lived it, but I have forgotten some of this stuff. I think I remember it all, but I don't.
I'm the only person on Kanzenshuu that owned all of the Dragon Ball Z VHS tapes.
Probably, yeah.
I had the whole series on VHS. But yeah, I don't remember anything about it, and I lost it all in 2005. So
such a shame.
We have a good portion of it, I think, between all of us and what we're willing to acquire, And obviously, we'll get some help at some point. There's always people who are willing to lend us things, and I think we'll certainly get to that point. Eventually, where we don't have to keep buying everything for ourselves. We can borrow things.
Let me just jump in and say I'm not buying every Dragon Ball figure out there.
Yes, you are.
I assumed you were.
There are a couple of people I might try to recruit for figures if we get to that point.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We're already at that point.
Are we?
Oh,
yeah, I started that a while ago. Yeah.
You got some figure arts stuff in there. But I mean, even just looking at some of this, you can probably tell we do have some priorities for things. We want every episode to have a page. We want every chapter to have a page. We're invested in home releases. Depending on who's working on what, they feel strongly about something. And that's what I appreciate about the group growing too, is that we got people who are interested in different things. I never hoped to have the tonality for background music pieces, but we're going to have that now. And it's really exciting to me.
You will know about that Burger King exclusive VHS tape. Congratulations.
Well, I do have a page for the World of Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, wow. I didn't even know.
I did that. And so I do have that page on there. I haven't made the page yet for Z Warriors Prepare, but I'm pretty sure we have it. So.
Oh, man.
And
I was joking. I didn't know you had this all prepared already.
I do have the craft dinner thing there. That's another one.
That's
I don't want to tell people that I want to buy it because then people are going to look for it and try to
sell it. It doesn't matter. It's impossible to find anyway.
No, I know. But so I've at least linked the blog that comes from, so you can get the information. What we can't personally fact check.
All right, who's buying all the Game Boy Advance Dragon Ball GT episodes?
I have the one, I think, that there is. I actually have 2 copies. I have a sealed box copy, and I have a loose cartridge. So, Ken, don't
there
joke.
You go.
Already started. Yeah.
I have bought enough for now.
Terez, where else do you want to take us? You're the wiki administrator. What do you want to show off?
Go to the Viz Monthly Comics page.
Ah, yes.
It is a work in progress, but we can show you some cool stuff.
I felt strongly about this, and I was so excited that you kind of ran with it. Because again, I've been here the whole time, so I remember buying these when they first came out, and there's really no documentation about them out there. You may see some covers or photos of them, but we wanted to do, all right, what were they? When did they come out? What's in them? So here's some ads for them. Here's the press release for them. Here's the differences between the editor notes in the monthlies versus what came in the later editions. And Terez, you bought them all, and we're doing individual pages for each individual issue. So you can see what's in it, when it came out, what's the title page, what's the ad on the back, everything.
And for every cover illustration, I tell you, what size reprint it got in the Kanzenshuu one and the Chogashuu.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got the cover illustration section here.
Yeah, and I'm transcribing the letters columns. I think I did this one.
Yep, here we go.
Yeah. That's as
Are you
close
just
as
looking
I
at
could get
this
it.
going like, oh my God, my life flashing before my eyes?
Yeah, I'm gonna make Jake do some of this.
Yeah.
That's why I'm leaving. I'm like, all the pages I've been making lately, I haven't been doing the letters column. I just make a section for it and I just leave it. So I'm sure between the two of us, we'll get it all done.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, you can scroll down to the bottom of the page. There's nothing on that one. Which one was I going to tell you to look at? Look at part 1, number 4. This one is funny. I tweeted about this when I was making it.
Part 1, number 4. There we go. Okay.
Dragon Ball Part 1, number 4. Yeah.
Yep. So we got the Fist of the North Star figures ad. Great. Love it.
This, you can demonstrate footnotes on this because I use the letter footnotes.
I'm looking for one.
There's one. You just passed one. Yeah. Somebody wrote in and said that Bulma had a crush on Goku.
Oh, there. It's working here. Yep.
And Trish Ledoux, who's the editor, was like, she does? So I wrote like this whole footnote explaining how, yes, Bulma did have a crush on Goku. Because where else am I going to put that on the wiki? Like, nowhere.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. I documented it. So I was excited about that one. Yeah, but letter footnotes are on those.
Mm-hmm.
And then the references. And when this is done, it's going to be a pretty handy guide to Toriyama illustrations.
Yeah.
Like, it won't be all of them, but it'll be a significant number of them. I think, for people who can't afford the Kanzenshuu or the visual history, which Viz put out.
Yeah, and it's less about duplicating that imagery because, again, we're not looking to be a piracy site. We're looking to be a documentation site. So you're not going to...
It's like a bonus effect of having to document all this stuff.
There's a lot of it here.
Sorry.
Oh, this is all good. I want to show something. I'm going to actually go to the chat for a couple minutes here. I've seen some comments. Most of people are just saying, holy cow. But I want to ask, what kind of page do you all want to see? And I'll see if we have something like that maybe we can show off. I guess here I'm going to answer this. Cashman saying, who's doing Korean translations of the Dragon Ball Online Guidebook Mike bought recently. Recently, wasn't that years ago at this point? But I mean, we have it and we'll get to it eventually, whether that's Jake or Devil's Corpse. I mean, we have people who know language stuff. King of Bunny says pun page. So I guess what I can show off is less a pun page and more a character page. Why don't I go to...
I have a suggestion.
Yeah, who you got?
The name section from the Planet Yard Rat page.
Oh, okay.
That has some stuff a lot of people might not know about yet.
Nice.
Also, I'm very proud of this page.
You notice I typed in Yard Rat and it went correctly to Planet Yard Rat. We have a ton of redirects set up. I feel like every time we make a page, we try to think about all the permutations of that name or how it could work.
Super important.
Yeah. All right, Ken, take us through here. Oh, I know what you want to talk about.
Yeah.
It's very relevant.
So, real quick, there are a couple from. We even have to go to Dragon Ball Z sagas, ladies and gentlemen, for this wiki. And there are 2 Yardratians. These actually weren't the ones I wanted to talk about, but yeah,
really?
Let's get them.
I love this.
Yeah, they're Soba and Yaki. Pun of Soba Yaki, of course. Soba has a name in the game. Yaki's name, you have to go and like dig around in the game's resources to find his name.
Right, but it's there.
And it's there, yeah. And PSP, who's also another wiki editor who he does a lot of like game modding and stuff, and he helped me pull these textures out. So right now, these images on here you can't find anywhere else. And or I assume they're not on Spriter's resource, that's for sure. And so then you have to go through and use anyways, you can't find that stuff anywhere else. And that's the kind of work that we're doing, going in and looking at the game's files almost. And I even had to do that recently with Kakarot for pull some images from. But if you scroll down a little bit to the name section there, it goes through Pibara and Hatsuka. And, Pibara is an obvious pun, and Hatsuka is for a house mice. But then we start talking about Jimizu from Dragon Ball Super, who everyone was kind of content to say, well, this is a meat pun, because everyone else in Universe 2 was as well. And then I forget how it happened, but Terez, was it you who started looking at that and finding out how it could be a rodent pun as well?
So, like, I looked it up and everybody like tried to argue with me about it. I was like, no, this totally works as a rodent pun.
But yeah, and we also, we provide the kana for this. So we're showing you our thought process of how, well, this actually also could be for a Japanese shrew. This is the same kind of syllables mixed around. So Jimizu has kind of like a double pun. Did Toyotaro know about this? We don't know. The world may never know.
I think something I want to highlight here is we say things like can also be interpreted likely name source is. For things that we don't know, we're real careful about how we describe it there on the page. We don't say this is a name pun on this. We say we think it might be this because we don't know for sure.
Ken mostly did that Yardrat page, but I edited it recently to add that quote from Toyotaro because he confirmed that the Dragon Ball Online designs were designed by Toriyama. So we have that quote there.
I love all this.
That's the kind of stuff that we're going to have on every page. If there's a relevant quote about the production or anything like that, it's going to be on there.
Right. And I think that kind of goes back a little bit to what I was talking about with regard to a typical fan site and what we think we need to put on a page. The nice thing about having more people and individual pages is you want to know what the name puns are. Go to that character's page. That character's page is going to have an explanation of that name pun. And that gets me thinking about, do we have to have a name puns overall page that we break down, or should we? So there's still
I think it'd probably be pretty useful. Yeah, I think it'd be useful to have, a page just dedicated to name puns. Yeah, so people can just scroll through them if they're curious about that kind of thing.
Yeah. I want to click on Soba. Let's see what's there. I think I initially made this page because I was playing sagas for stuff because I wanted to get his power level on here. This is good.
Well, what happened was I didn't know you had a Soba page, and I made the Soba entry, and his image popped up. And I was like, what? Why is this here?
Oh, that's really good. All right, so other people. So we got pun page. I got a page on Funimation's edits in the original release. On every home video page or manga page, I mean, Terez manga censorship, you're listing print editions and what's different on all those.
Go to chapter 1 whenever you get a chance.
Just Dragon Ball.
It had to be right now. Yeah.
That's an excellent example.
I think it's a good page because we also had a ton from Julian on the main website, so we're able to take all that. But also, I mean, Kanzenban, full color, tankobon, and you want to see all that. So we've got the synopsis, summary, title page, weekly jump that it's from. We've got things like Toriyama's comment that we thought to include on the main site. English adaptation. All right, here you go. Visual edits and censorship. Here's everything.
Yeah, there's like galleries for everything that show you the differences between all the editions. Like, can you click through that gallery? Well, I wouldn't do that. Not on Goku's penis.
Maybe the next one.
Sorry, do the
That's
next one.
why I was nervous about loading up this page. But
oh, yeah, well, the censored one is first. So.
Right.
Yeah, that's the only edition that was censored, the Viz graphic novel. That's a discontinued series of graphic novels that quit after volume 10 of each series.
Yeah. So it's all there.
Yeah, that's the most censored version by far.
Even here's what's different about the Dragon Radar.
Yeah, like I even took Herms did translation nitpicks on the forum, so I've been using his post for that. Yeah, like why did they call it the ball detector?
Ball detector, ball detector, ball detector, Dragon Radar, Dragon Radar, Dragon Radar.
Yeah. Yep. So it's really weird. But anyway, yeah.
That's all good. I'm going to go with AJ's suggestion here because this is another person that we haven't mentioned yet. Sodhi can... Obviously, you want to talk about animation stuff. We want to include all the people who animate the series. We're going to include, yes, their Dragon Ball positions, but Sodhi's going through and here's all their other notable stuff. Here's their in-between animation on these. Here's their key animation on Victory Gundam, Bebop. This tells you who this person is and what their journey is as an animator, where they began, how they came to Dragon Ball, and how their roles have changed over the years.
Wish we could do biographies, but it's so hard to find actual biographical information on animators. And even if you do get lucky enough to find it, it's in Japanese.
Well,
or Chinese. Yeah, our translators are very busy, so yeah.
Even giving proper credit to the folks that worked on each episode is super important, in my opinion, because going back to the US home releases, they often did not credit each episode properly, save for the Dragon boxes.
No, and this is something that I was complaining about with One Piece lately. That's a much more modern Funimation release, but I got to the end credits. I wanted to know who worked on this show. Well, I know who did the third pass of Funimation video edits on the show, but I have no idea who actually made the show looking at their credits. So it's really important for us to... I'm interested in who made the show, not who reversioned the show. And we're going to include all that stuff in there, but we're going back to basics here. And I don't know if this is basics, but it's basics on steroids. I made a list of things I wanted to show off. Oh, here's a good. So I'm going to show some things from folks who aren't here with us right now. Joe, JRP, he wanted to show off this page. I think this is a good page because it shows some stuff I've been doing as well. This is just the Nyoibo page. But what's cool about this page? So it's in general overview, powers, abilities, cool, name. I love all the stuff that Joe did here. I don't want to take anything away from it, but I want to talk about me because I'm here. Here's Nyoibo's origin and journey to the West. Hero quotes explaining how it's used in Journey to the West. Here's its prototype from Toriyama's drafts and manuscripts leading up to Dragon Ball. Here's its first appearance in the preview page in 1984, number 50. This is Nyoibo. Nyoibo isn't the thing that you've forgotten about. It's an important piece of history.
There's one major thing missing from that page.
I'm sure there is. What is it?
The Shintani drawing.
Oh, yeah, we got to put that in legacy, probably. I don't have a legacy section on here. I'll add that in when we're done. This feels like a little bit of bragging here for me, talking about Journey to the West stuff, but people don't read books. And I feel like it's so important. Like, you can probably count on just your two hands how many Dragon Ball fans have gone back and done this. And I'm not saying I'm special for having read Journey to the West, but I'm gonna do it because not enough people
Journey
are.
to the West, it's a hard read.
It is hard. It is.
Yeah.
It's a tough sell, which is why I feel like I want to do some of this stuff. I love this page. This is so good. So we've got him versus Murasaki and playing up on Karin Tower. And it Anti's up Noibo in a card game. Like, we're going to talk about all that stuff. You know, where did you last see it? Oh, it was used in the card game. I love that.
Go to Kame House.
Okay.
I haven't finished that page yet. I need to finish
there,
it.
I'm gonna. Okay.
There you go.
So events.
So, like, yeah, I pretty much am trying to cover everything that ever happened at Kame House. And that's how far I've gotten. But,
Not
like,
to mention all the times it's moved.
yeah, well, you got to take a different approach to every page, right? Every page is going to have, a different way to present it that makes the most sense for that thing.
Yeah.
And I felt like this is what made the most sense for that thing.
I want to show off a kind of more abstract page. This is something that Ian Cipher put together. And I like the images on the page. I did the images. Ian did all the writing on this page. This is a page all about the Xeno suffix as it's used throughout the series. But what's really cool about this page is, so we keep talking about people who know Japanese, translators doing things. What are they doing? There haven't been a whole lot of translations put up on the main website lately. Look at all this. This is all new original translation stuff. So some of this is from the Hero's 8th Anniversary guidebook that came out. This is, when did this suffix start getting used and how was it introduced? This is all new original translation work. But it's important to cite on a page. Commentary about it as well. This is actually insane as I scroll down this page, how much, Ian, you wrote about a suffix. But then we get the list of the characters. And obviously this is still a page in the works. I don't think anyone's touched it in a while. But when you go to look for this stuff right now, you don't get the context for it. And you get really bad off-screen images. We're not doing that stuff. We're going to the actual source material here. I love this page so much. I love reading this page.
AJ, go to Dragon Ball Super episode 5.
Okay. Yeah, I think I saw that in chat. Wants to... Okay, so this is just an episode page. All right, you got the title card, you got the summary. Cool.
Go down to animation.
We've got the... love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm down the animation. So, okay, so this is...
Yeah.
Yes.
So good. So we've got the original and the corrections from the home video stuff. Production materials. And then your music table on here. The availability. I know you do a lot of this stuff for the DBZ subreddit, but where can you stream it? When was it put up streaming? Not just in America, but in some of these other territories as well.
Yeah. And if you go to Dragon Ball Z episode 149, I think it's 149, which is... Hold up, let me look it up.
No, I'm going to it. Too late.
Right.
Nope.
Is that the one with production on it? No. What's the one where... Oh, that's not even close to being right. Which is the one where the first episode where Frieza and Cold land on Earth.
Oh, it's like...
Is that 119? 119.
All right.
I think.
Did they come at the end of 118?
Yeah, but
so that's probably
118 is mostly flashbacks, right? Yeah, 119.
All right, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did some production stuff on this page too. It's all the various animators' styles, a bit of their production materials. So that was a pretty good page. It's not complete yet. I still have to
but
fix a few things on there.
Very little is actually complete. But again, these are great just showcases of this. This is what we want it to be. And this stuff is so spread out across the internet. Having it all in one place is so cool. Storyboard, when we can get that stuff, we're going to include it. That's great.
Yeah, and all of that is... Oh, yeah, we have the whole storyboard for that episode, which is rare. So there it is, and it's all cited to the guy who provided it to us on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Get all that there. I'm trying to think of who other editors are, and I want to show some of the things they have done. You mentioned PSP earlier. I'm going to go to the Budokai 1 page, Dragon Ball Z Budokai. This was complicated to try to name as well, but we're doing best we can. Defaults to Japanese title card. I've got the English one in there as well. What did PSP do? So all of the episode numbers, arcs, ripped all the graphics for all of these in here. In terms of characters, ripped their portrait sprites. We're listing things like... I want this to also be kind of like a strategy guide. If I go to the Budokai 1 page, I want to know, how do I unlock Yamcha? All right, here it is. That's how, again, that to me feels like something that should just be, immediately accessible on a page like that. What forums are available for them as well. Jay's been on the podcast talking about some of the stuff he's done with hacking away at the game. Just to show you, that stuff is here, like the stadium crowd, which he talked about on the podcast. Some of these unused graphics that are there in the game. He ripped all that stuff out, and we're giving you some context for, here's the file that it's in, which regions of the game. It's all there. I love this stuff so much.
When you say treating something as a strategy guide, when I'm working on the Frieza soldiers page, Frieza's organization, and there's like 100 different Frieza named enemies in those video games, and there's only a few that I've done, but I do have to treat them like, how do I write a little biography for a recolor of Zarbon? And it's like, well, I say, here's when he appears, and here's who he appears with, and here's the attack that he uses. So
it takes a while to get down there because all these are like real characters now. There you go, video game characters. So Nabana, Roberry, yep. You got the battle power for them in there.
We had a very nice and long conversation about how we were going to internally localize all of these names as well. That was a lot of fun.
But some of these are really important now, like this Yuzu character, who's a reskin of Zarbon. Well, now we have Yuzun in the actual main story of the series. And so when we talk about that character, we talk about, well, actually there was a character previously that used a similar name pun source. And so far they haven't really doubled up on names. The closest has been, I think, Shallot, which in Dragon Ball Fusions is spelled differently than the Dragon Ball Legends mobile game character. But yeah, they're here. But also we remember stuff like that. So we mention it on the pages. Man, there's so many. But again, so you're also going to pull things from a guidebook. So, when we have blurbs for these characters, we're going to show off what we do have. Oh my God, there's so many.
Asking about the Blue Bricks page.
Yeah, I guess I can go back to the. I've lost track of who's those. Ken.
It should be on my user page.
It's yours, I think.
So far, season 1 is up.
Oh, that's DBZ.
Yeah.
Is Dragon Ball on here?
Oh,
So I did the main page for the Blue Bricks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just search
Absolutely right.
Dragon Ball
All season
Season
one.
DVDs is what
Yeah.
we called it.
Here's season 1. Okay. So this is here. You got the summary. Y'all want to see home video stuff. I'm surprised. I feel like we've covered this pretty extensively, but no, it's important. This is kind of like the main thing that people have and purchase over and over again. So I guess you want to know everything there is to know about
that I really want. That's a huge driving force for me, because I did grow up watching Toonami and all that, but I also grew up with the original material.
Yeah.
And I can have both sides of that coin of knowing what's proper and what all the other kids were watching along with me. So I want anyone, 20 plus years later to just, whatever. I'll Google this thing to see what it's about, and all these things here, you can read up on it, and it's I think it's important to keep track of.
I've seen.
Yeah, this is the next thing I was going to ask about.
I've seen a couple of people mention Harmony Gold. I haven't written Harmony Gold yet, but I will tell you what I have done is International Channel and Nippon Golden Network, because
big part of that
Mike
discovery.
Yaranakia Dariga Yaru is all I have to say about that. Terez, Gods of Destruction. Tell us about this page.
This is still a work in progress. Like, I'm trying to, this is one of those pages that I wanted to put out public.
Yeah. Like
a year ago. And then I just never got around to like nitpicking the final details.
I know. It's those last percentages that.
Yeah. It's like, I know there's more useful information that I can put on there. I think the Kaioshin page is probably better.
Okay.
There's that recruitment section.
Yeah, that's good.
Because I stated at the beginning of the page that Gods of Destruction are recruited from the mortal realm. Mm-hmm. And since that's never actually stated outright, I had to like really back it up in that section, and I put pretty much every quote that demonstrates that they are recruited from mortals.
This is good. And again, so we're including the Japanese text, and you want to fact check it too. Don't throw it in Google Translate, but
I don't always include the Japanese text, but this felt like one of those situations where I maybe should. Kaioshin page is good.
All right, we're going. So yeah, we're gonna have things like the super exciting guy character volume. We've got that on there. We've got the quotes. Those quotes are all cited as well. So good. Yeah.
If you can't remember that quote about the Kaioshin, there's like 3 different ones and they all contradict each other. There they are. So, yeah.
Had many conversations about what is the actual definition of the history behind them. It's like, which one is it? Well, we're all wrong.
And I also did the Angels page. And those 3 I wanted to get out. Make them public sometime soonish. I'm always talking about things that are almost ready to make public.
That's how I feel about a lot of my stuff.
Like, go to Super Dragon Ball Heroes music.
Is that just the name of the page?
Yeah.
Okay. Go.
Probably make this one public soon. Because it's finished. I did the music for all the Super Dragon Ball Heroes episodes.
And even on here, you're noting first time it's used.
Yeah. And there are no unreleased tracks. There are actually a few tracks on the release that just came out that haven't been used yet. But so far there are no unreleased ones.
I forgot it's this many episodes at this point.
Yeah. There's like way too many.
I'm going to go over to chat. So different kinds of pages. We've talked about home video. We've talked about music. We haven't done a lot of... Are there any individual attack pages? I don't want to show one that I've...
I was just thinking, just scroll through techniques like that. Every time I need to comb through and reference something for the episode descriptions, I'm like, what is this called? Okay, it is under this tree of other attacks.
And so this is going to look similar to how you may have seen things organized on the main website, but Ken, you've really, gone with it. Ken, which of these 4 main areas you want to look at?
Key manipulation is done. So I would say let's take a look at that one.
Okay. I think we were scrolling a little bit through this earlier, but yeah, this is good. So tell me about the working from a base of a page. Like this is a list page.
So do you have my Google spreadsheet? So
I don't want to go looking for that right now.
When I first got the guidebooks, I was really wanting to learn to be able to read Japanese. And so I started studying like katakana, hiragana, and some kanji. But luckily, these guidebooks all have furigana, so I can rely on that. But I started before I was involved with the wiki project, I just started transcribing it. I figured this is going to be the best way for me to learn things is just dive in and just, can I read these characters on the page?
Yeah.
And I guess I told Terez that I was doing that. And then that's kind of how I got brought in. And so it just became a measure of, well, here's all this work I've already done. Mm-hmm. Let me just kind of figure out how to move this over. And so, we do have translators who are fluent. We can't rely on them all the time. And especially, there's no way I could rely on them for this entire page that sources a lot from the guidebooks. And so, but luckily, Herms has already done a lot of the legwork on this with his guides on the forums. And so I'm going through and double checking things because the verbiage is a little bit different in the Kanzenshuu for each entry, and want to make sure we're using kind of the most updated version for things, plus all the GT attacks. But I
paused here because Gamma Burst Flash is here.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the way, I have to word it. I don't want something that's, I don't want things to read drastically different if I'm not kind of taking the information from a guidebook. So I try to write things how in my mind of having read all of this other Kanzenshuu entry stuff, how I would imagine it having been read.
Yeah.
Or written.
This page
I lost my train of thought, but yeah, it's a long page. Yeah, there's God Cleaving Slash, which I believe is a name from I think a card, or it's Dokkan. And then there's all the different variations of how Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken is written, and there's just a lot of, it's crazy. This page is insane.
Love it.
I love this stuff so much.
Don't have Masenko Seppo on there.
I noticed that.
Yeah, that's pretty recent stuff in comparison.
Oh, you don't even have it on your page. I have it on mine because I took the images.
It was in Supersonic Warriors 2 or whatever that game is.
Right.
So it's not that new.
No, but this is the kind of thing where people said it was in a game. All right, let's go find it. Let's take an actual screenshot of it and not just say it's from that.
Yeah, I made that page. It's basic. I don't know if there's anything I can add to it.
No, probably not.
Exactly what he needs.
Let's see. CS Maniac 33. I'm amazed you all have managed to not go insane trying to document everything.
I know, speaking from my own experience, I had like regular meltdowns when I was writing the timeline pages.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't add up all the time. And I think I've said it's like perfectly imperfect or something. It's super frustrating.
Let's see. So, Small Dream, would you treat the page for, say, Gogeta, since he has both the Z and Super Incarnation? Well, let's go look at the Gogeta page and see what we've done so far.
I don't think we've made that page, have we?
Yeah, I did.
Have we done that for Broly yet?
Oh, we did make it. That's a very tiny info box image.
Well, I think that was real early too. We've since made bigger images.
We've started doing bigger ones.
Yeah, for that stuff. So biography, we're just telling you what happened in those places. We're not going to try to reconcile it, but we'll give you the history. We'll talk about the name. In here, I've got the Veku stuff. I've got Chapter 502's original serialization, calling Vegito Gogeta. We want to talk about that. Production, we talk about Katsura and everything he's done to convince Toriyama to do things, notable appearances, transformations. Do y'all remember that he's got Great Ape of Destiny in Dragon Ball Heroes? Well, we did. Do you remember EX Gogeta from Fusions? Well, we remembered that. And then I started getting to the techniques, and that's where I gave up on this page, because then I had to reconcile combos versus individual moves, and I took all the screenshots and decided I didn't want to write it anymore, so I'll get back to it at some point. But then additional information, so we'll include things like Toriyama's drawing for him. I thought it was important to address that fan sub translation of "I am not Goku nor Vegeta and the instrument of your defeat," because it's a notable line, but that's not actually the line. Yet it was used in Boo's Fury because they based a lot of what they wrote in that game on fan subs because it wasn't available yet. Devil's Corp says, we got to change the grade 8 bit. That's not the form name. Well, you know what? You have access to that page. Go in and change what that page says. Don't leave me to my own devices working on this page.
You do it.
I forget where I got that title from. Yeah, fine. Good. Go do it. Man. What else? So we've been
Teach
going...
AJ how to wiki.
What does AJ want to show?
I just said, can we teach him how to wiki?
Oh, can we teach him? Can we make an AJ page?
Yeah, I need his help with visual comparisons.
I joke a little
like,
bit
he
about...
just feeds me information and I put it on the page.
Yeah.
And I got all this other stuff going on. I was like, man, if AJ could just put it on there himself.
I want to show a couple things.
That'd be amazing.
That I'm interested in doing. I think it's important. I love history. I want to tell the history of the show, but I also want to tell the history of the fandom a little bit. I think that's really important. So I've been doing things like some of the most important fan pages that have existed. So I've certainly documented Kanzenshuu, talked about what features did it have, who made it, when was it launched, what was the legacy of that site. Things people don't remember, like the news group, alt.fan.dragonball. What was important about it? When did it happen? Who are some of the people there? Some of those names you're going to see are linked as well, because some of those people went on to work on the series in an official capacity. Fan subs are an important part of Dragon Ball's history, so I want to do that, and I'm obviously going to include the research that other people have done is important to me too. I want to give them the credit for things like that, so I'm gonna do the write up and link it. Ironfjord joking about Hank. Here it is. Well, I guess this is Miami Mike and not Hank, but Hank. We'll get to Hank too.
Knowing that there's a spot for Planet Namek and DBZ Uncensored on the site means a lot to me personally.
I lived on planetnamek.com.
Yeah.
There are a couple other good sites.
I was a wee
then.
lad, but yes, me too.
Yeah.
I remember when I first got online, I went to look for Dragon Ball sites.
Yeah.
And I looked around, I'm like, oh my God, this fandom is scary. Let me get out.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And that was back then.
Yeah.
And it was 10 years later when I finally started engaging with the Dragon Ball fandom online.
Yeah.
So we've been going for almost an hour and a half at this point, and I just love showing off this. London Ramayasha, will fan projects like DBZ Abridged be documented too? Yep, it's a plan. I already have. So if I go to one of the community pages, I think I have this is my, right now, what I want to include. So I've got podcasts. I made a complete All Systems Goku page. So I've got links to everything. I've mirrored every podcast episode too. So if the stuff ever gets taken down, the entirety of the show is preserved. So we have that there. And I'm not just doing English stuff. I'm including Japanese podcasts as well. So the stuff is important and tells the story of Dragon Ball and its coverage worldwide. So I want
me a flashback.
I want to do fan subs. I want to do podcasts. I want to do some of the main AMVs. video parodies, fan comics, Little Silings. Who remembers Little Silings? I do. I want to write a page on that. Ken does. Look, all right. Everyone remembers Little Silings.
When I was in middle school, I printed out every issue of Little Silence, every little strip of Little Silence, and I put them all in a binder just so I could read them at school.
Yeah.
I love those dumb comics.
They were so good.
Yeah.
So I don't want to belabor the point, but I think this shows that the wiki is real. It doesn't exist. There are a lot of people working on it. They're enjoying working on it. They're going insane working on it. We don't have a launch time plan yet.
2024. Anytime somebody asks me when is the wiki going to be done, I say 2024.
2077.
2024. That's my date, and I'm sticking to it.
We'll have more live before then. There's a lot we want to share. There's a lot we want to do. Do y'all have any examples of some little things you've started that are kind of like on the fringes? I can certainly, just to give you an example, I always loved what was going to be Toriyama.org, and I feel like I'm trying to relive those old days in a way of I want to build out what the old guard envisioned and were never able to make. I want this to be more than just Dragon Ball. I always say that if you want to understand Dragon Ball, you have to read Dr. Slump first. I think if you want to understand Toriyama, you got to read more than Slump and Dragon Ball. So I want to tell the story of some of these other series. So I did the main Kajika page, for example. Here's where it came out. Here are the quotes from him. And then I tie it in by, here's its legacy. Toyotaro showed off Kajika stuff in Victory Mission. It's important to note that stuff too. Do you have any kind of things like that are, here's a little one-off thing that I wanted to do that doesn't really fit into a bucket?
I have a lot of things like that, but I can't think of anything right now.
I feel like I'm showing off too much of my pager.
I just personally really like your Super Budoten 2 page.
That's a good one.
Butoden.
Thank you.
Budoden.
That's my 8-year-old talking.
God, I can't type. There we go. There's still more to do on here. Like I say, add the action figures to the merchandise. That's what I want to do on that page. But yeah, I don't see a lot of people talk about, we know the debug menu and the tiny characters.
Even putting like the codes up on there.
Oh, this was
soundtrack info.
Did you know that Mr. Popo will peek out after a certain amount of times that you're on this? Well, I fast forwarded through enough of the intro to find out you can do that. I love that stuff. And I want to show it too. And we want to have the highest quality images. We're doing all of our original scans and screen captures and all that stuff. We're using photos where we have to, with the expectation that we'll replace as much as we can when we can do it. Like going back to that. No, I own Kajika. I was thinking maybe Escape. I did the page for Escape. I don't own the issue with that in it. So, we use a photo and we source where the photo comes from, and we'll get back to it when we can. Joe says, I see Alex Kidd in the video game section. Yep, got that in there. I saw a question, are we going to include Dragon Quest stuff? I feel like there's probably a line where it's no longer, like Dragon Quest isn't a Toriyama work. It's a Yuji Horii work, and Toriyama's involved. We'll certainly mention it where it comes up, like in weekly comments when he talks about Dragon Quest. We already have that on the main website. But I don't expect that we'll be doing, I don't know, maybe Ian's going to want to do an entire write-up on Dragon Quest 3. Probably convince him to do that at some point, right? Didn't he already do like a translation breakdown of, I think, a couple lines from one of those early games? We can probably do it. We'll do it. We're not going to do it.
I know he's on the verge of making a PowerPoint presentation about time travel. So I'm kind of just waiting for that to come out, and then I'll...
Do we want to leave it there?
What? We can do more.
What do you want to show?
Go to the Dragon Radar page.
Okay.
Yeah, if chat has anything off the top of their head, throw it out there.
Please.
This one is also not finished because I have to do the movies.
Yeah. This was good. Yeah, all the different names. Going back to like the Viz and censorship stuff, you've got the different name variations there. Got it.
All
Movies.
the different, I mean, there are several different Dragon Radars that are used throughout the series. And I'm going to try to have every single one of them on there.
That's great.
There are like a couple of Dragon Radars that got lost. We don't know what happened to them.
Just appear.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it. I think we've shown
Okay.
off so much.
Are we done?
I don't want to, show our.
Are
whole
you
hand
not
here.
entertained?
Are you not entertained? Indeed. I guess let's take a couple last questions from the chat about process, that kind of stuff. Thought process behind working on pages.
Ooh, Dirk JP, Doujinshi. Do these side stories count? I thought we had.
Well, we're
something
certainly
on
going to
those.
have those, but
Yeah.
if you want to talk about like the head chala Dojinshi, maybe eventually. We're going to have to cover the past of Toible because it's a part of Dragon Ball's history at this point. I showed off fan projects. I think we want to cover that, and we'll have to be very careful about how we frame it, saying this is not real. But yeah.
Big bold text.
Right. Man. Jake, I'm going to ask you. So as the newest person coming in, when you did get in, what did you think you were going to see when you came in, and what did you get?
Well, man, so I mean, I've been paying attention to Kanzenshuu since it was Daizenshu EX. So I already have an idea of the kind of work ethic that goes into, maintaining the site and everyone's involvement. But even then, I was not prepared for what I found when I logged into the wiki page. It was given credentials and because I started off small with Terez's guidance, going through just doing a couple pages, but
it would be real easy to get real overwhelmed real fast.
Yeah, because I was just like, okay, I need to pull a reference from here. Let me go check on that, and I would just dig and dig and dig, and I can't believe how much has already been done. And I'm just super happy to be here, but also just determined to just keep contributing, just keep adding to that pool. So, yeah.
Way every day.
The recent changes page is a definite change, or a page I check every morning without fail.
Ken, you've said several times that you pretty much just use it now.
Yeah.
I tell people the same thing.
There's not often a time where I will need to search elsewhere or even go grab one of my own books to check something. It's just, I'll just search for it, and there it is.
Yeah. Shout out to Hujio, who made a list of all the VHS releases on the forum in 2009.
I know.
I don't know what he was thinking when he did that, but that was a huge help. on my part.
I can answer that on behalf of Heath. He wanted to do it because it was going to be useful to him, and someone asked, so he did it. And that's someone. I can't read the name. Text Flex Rex. What inspired you guys to make a full wiki? I mean, I think that goes back to just Heath and I from the start. Is we want something that we can use, and we're going to find useful and enjoy working on. And I've never lost that drive and that enjoyment working on this stuff, and y'all have only made it better for me. All right, I'm leaving it to the wiki administrator. How do you want to close it out?
I don't have anything interesting to say. Sorry. I was going to say something, and then I started paying attention to what you were saying, and I don't remember what it was that I was going to say.
All right. Well, I'll I'll close it out then. Thank you everyone for hanging out with us. I know this is not a launch. This probably isn't what you were looking for or maybe expecting. After I read the tweet, I was like, oh God, do people think we're actually launching it today? I said sneak peek. We're just showing it to you. We're not giving you access to the full thing. But it's a lot, and it's a lot of work. And I think you could definitely come at this from just make it live. There's someone in my own house who has said many times, just make it live. There's a lot there. People want to see it. It's usable, but I think a couple of us feel strongly about there's still just like a baseline we want to make sure is there and clean up some of our nonsense.
Yeah, because I feel like there are a lot of errors and wrong things on there right now.
Probably.
And that's not what we want to release, because we're trying to differentiate ourselves from the other wikis, right?
Yeah.
So if we just put out a bunch of nonsense, then it's not a whole lot better than that,
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's not true, but still, it feels like in the same category, and I just feel, I don't know, whenever anybody talks about going public, I'm just like, no. Not yet. Not anytime soon.
Mike, did you mention the pages that are actually available to preview?
So I can mention that there are, and I finally remembered to just put this on the main wiki page. I think the main page is actually accessible to anyone. So if you just go to /wiki, you can get here. This is just a small amount of pages that we've made. Most of them are mine. I got one of Ken's in there. I got one of Joe's in there. Terez, you have some that I think we're going to include there soon. We link them here. We link them on social media. I've linked them in a forum thread post as well. We want to keep adding to this because I think that's a really good way to get an idea for what we're doing without just having to hear us talk about it over and over and over,
Yeah, well, I would love to add some pages to that list. I just got to polish them up.
Yeah, we'll get there.
I think Yard Rat is about ready to go. I think there's one more thing I got to check on there.
All right, let's stay tuned. We got some more preview pages coming. I'm excited for that. Show them all off.
If they just stop making Dragon Ball stuff, we could actually finish.
That's what Heath and I said. Like they're going to just wrap up this show. This will be great. We can coast. We can even make that wiki. It'll be easy.
Like I just finished making all the super chapter pages.
Yeah.
Because like half of them didn't have chapter summaries, and oh my God, that was a grind. It took me a month.
Well, yeah, because I started hitting that 45-page era. This is a lot more work than it used to be doing things.
Yeah. Yeah, but all the summaries are done now, and I proofread them up to chapter 56, and I'll get the rest done before the storyboards come out for chapter 68.
Yeah.
And then Mike can start putting those on the site guide at least.
Well, all right. So maybe that brings me to, all right, you're doing a wiki. I see a lot of stuff here that effectively replaces main website stuff. I want you to think to things like the family name guide on the site, things like the Gods and Cosmos guide, a couple others that I've started writing. What I think the main website will become is the news that it's always been, the translations that it's always been, because that's an important base, but also curated guides. I want to be able to tell that story a little more as a story than as a pure documentation. I love both sides of doing this. I love telling who said what when, but I also love diving into the context of something at the same time. And that's what I want to share on the main website as time goes on. So I think these will work in cooperation with each other. It'll just all be Kanzenshuu, and we'll have the podcast too, and we'll have all the voices here. Devil's Corp says Gogeta's Ozaru bit is fixed. Thank you. And that's what we have multiple people for here. All right, let's bring it to a close, folks. I thank you so much for joining us for this little chat and this showcase here. I will be archiving this. I will probably put this up as a full video over on the Kanzenshuu YouTube page rather than my personal Twitch page here, which I set up because that's what I had set up ready to go as opposed to setting up some other account there. Undecided if I'll include the audio in the podcast feed because I feel like it's more visual. Maybe I can throw it in there. I don't know if it necessarily work in that format, but I think having everything everywhere is important. So we'll see. www.kanzenshuu.com. That is kanzenshuu.com. Throw a /wiki on there at some point in the soon to be determined future, and you'll get a pretty good look at a lot of this stuff here. No. minus 3.
Terez, that won't read in the audio version.
Maybe that's for the best. Oh, so from
I'm just trying to be straight with y'all.
going from left to right up there. Thank you, Terez. Thank you, Jake. Thank you, Ken. I've been Mike. Thank you. Heath has been hanging out in the chat as well. Thank you, Jeff, for hanging out and doing the moderation in the chat. You didn't have to do any work. That was pretty great. Thank you so much. And everyone else who hung out and chatted with us here. I super, super, super appreciate it. Y'all are the best. Kanzenshuu has the best audience. Everyone always says that about their audience, their readership, their listenership. We're actually right on that. I appreciate it. So thank you. Have a good night. Happy New Year to everyone. And we'll see you soon. Bye.